Cutters, Degrassi, Unpopular Opinions. Hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter and welcome you to another Degrassi Unpopular Opinion. You thought I was done because I haven't posted one since March. Well, I've been doing other projects. If you go to the Cutter historical page and see like sports catastrophe, headed goal soccer, even out of the park baseball, I've been doing other projects. I haven't forgotten about Degrassi at all. So anyway, this is an unpopular opinion. And this is just me reacting to something about on the Reddit community. And this was happened almost a month ago. Shows you how long it's been since I have really cared about one of these. So anyway, Spinner would have cheated with anyone. Manny was the vessel. From According Bull 1901. And the post was basically about the fact when Spinner cheated on Paige with Manny in season 4. And said that, there was a reason why. Because Paige outgrew Spinner. Spinner was emotionally immature, but in season 4 it was apparent. He was acting a fool and letting his anger control him. Paige matured beyond that Spinner. And they were out of sync because of that. 2. Spinner did not really forgive her. He still held the car incident and dangled it as a way to escape criticism. He used it as a way to basically remind Paige she owed him. You can't have a balanced relationship when someone can't honestly communicate. It was gross of him, and that alone should have made them break up or at least take a break. Number 3, Spinner could not handle Paige's trauma. I think he realized that the experience with Paige left a deep wound that could not be healed, and he wasn't ready to be with someone with that type of emotional baggage. As in, maybe the rape, I think, by Paige. He wanted someone fun and easy, and that's why he kept pursuing Manny, because she was the opposite of what Paige was at the time. Light, bubbly, unburdened fun. And Spinner was in a dark place himself. He harbored resentment towards Rick. He and Terry were really close, even more so than some of her friends. You could tell he blamed himself, and when Rick came back, it was a constant reminder that Terry almost died when surrounded by her friends. He and Paige found her. That can't be a thing to live with. I think he was angry at himself, Rick, and Paige. Okay, so that's what the post said. But this is what we got to do some context before I get any more into this. So in season 3, everyone knows about Rick and Terry's relationship being bad. They broke up once when Rick shoved Terry into a wall. But then in a trusted thing, Rick and Terry found they were perfect for each other. But that worries Spinner, Paige, Jimmy, and Hazel. So on a road trip, they try to keep an eye on Terry. Unfortunately, though, Rick gets pissed off when Paige basically tells him off about things. And, Terry runs off after Rick. Rick gets mad at Terry, saying that you can't be with Paige. She's poisoning you. And then basically, he manages to shove Terry into a rock, getting her in the head, and she has blood coming out. And Rick has blood on his hands. He runs off after Spinner and Paige find them. Man, it was lucky they found them. And I don't know how Rick got home after that thing. What did he do? But anyway, Terry's in a coma. Rick is taken out of school by his parents because of what happened. I think they didn't know the full scope. I think Rick bullshitted his way through. And then, Rick was allowed to come back in season 4, and everyone was mad. And, you could tell that Spinner was paying a lot of attention towards trying to get Rick out of Degrassi and all that. Everyone was. I mean, you can't blame the school. And so basically, the first episode, this was before Rick came back. Paige had to deal with the rape trial with Dean. Dean got off because of lack of evidence, and Paige is upset. Paige decides to crash Spinner's car into Dean's car for revenge. Spinner gets in trouble. He said he would take the heat, but Paige learned that she needs to take the heat, and she basically destroys Dean, in a sense. And then, of course, Paige was not allowed to drive. She had to pay a massive fine. She said she would pay Spinner back for the damage to his car and all that. So she takes the job at the movie theater with Alex. They somehow kind of bonded in a sense. And that probably started Paige and Alex in season 5. Although I do say that Paige's trauma with men, like, Spinner cheating on her with Manny, Rick coming back the school, and Mr. Olander basically just tried to throw her under the bus and all that. She just basically said, "Fuck men, I'm gonna date a girl." Unless she wanted to date a girl, but she wanted to keep straight because she wanted to keep appearances. I mean, she was the queen bee of the school. Heather St. Clair, or be damned. So anyway, as it turns out, that you know, Spinner was wooed by Manny at a car wash. When Paige was getting that job, that movie theater job. So basically, he wanted to be with Paige. He and Paige were a decent couple, but then he decides to go after Manny for some strange reason. And, Manny accepts him and all that. Now, of course, I always had it that Spinner and Manny broke up at Bark of the Moon because Manny says that you're not the bad person, I am. But I learned that they did make the relationship work. And then when the school found out about Spinner's involvement in the Rick Murray situation, that's when she dumped him off. That I accept. I accept that I kind of was wrong in that situation. Regardless, yeah, it was hard pressed and all that. I did talk about this on this post. I did make some things and all that. Rachel Filetta said, I felt like Spinner was in a downward spiral after the Rick incident. Spinner was in a dark place and had a lot of growing up to do. Lording the car incident over Paige and sabotaging the job she had taken the movies to pay him back for the car was evil. Yeah, he's redeemed. And yeah, Paige had the last word when she had a one-night stand with him. And he was ready to leave Darcy for her over it. But it wasn't fun. Spinner was a better character as he grew up in the seasons past, but he had some very terrible lows. Yeah, Spinner had it, but according Bull said, Spinner had a right to be angry, but for me, Spinner should have expressed it before forgiving her, instead of resenting her for after he had accepted her apology. This is not me asking a kid to make the decisions of a mature adult, just discussing where they went wrong. I think if you forgive someone and they're actively trying to make things better, you should meet them halfway, not to throw the thing you forgave them for in their face when you're not satisfied with them. I think you should have her pay half of it, just because he knew why it happened and how distressed she was. He could still have a good chunk of the cost and demonstrate support towards Paige. But, it would show that she did a crappy thing to him. He understood that the space she did it from and that he cared about her safety and mental health more than a car. Anyway. Yeah, it was weird. I wrote that I felt this is well written, but I just wish Paige told Spinner that if he stayed with Manny, she wouldn't give him money to fix his car. And someone said, why would you say that? And I said, well, Paige is sacrificing her social status to work in a lame movie theater with Alex so that she could earn enough to pay Spinner back for ruining his car when she hit Dean's on purpose because of the rape. She's doing this for him, and yet while she's dealing with the embarrassment of being on a low-level job, Spinner flirts with Manny. She should be in control of the guy and flip the script. Of course, Spinner did worse stuff after he flirted with Manny. And of course, according Bowles said, I disagree with that. I know Paige was going through a lot, being re-traumatized while testifying, and being put on the stand to be berated. And your abuse justified and then losing the case. That would be hard for someone. Spinner wasn't the one who hurt her actions. Her actions hurt him. He saved up for that car, and we know he comes from a poor family. He shouldn't have to suffer for a mistake. I thoroughly dislike how he treated her, but she should still pay him back. And all that. A lot of people said that, that was Spinner's car. It was weird and all that. So in my mind, it's like, the whole Spinner Manny thing from season 4. Spinner should not have been with Manny. Spinner should have been with Paige and support Paige for what she went through in season 4. Before, Time Stands Still and all that. But yeah, I know Spinner was mad because that was his first car and, he doesn't come from money and all that. But Paige should have just told Spinner, if you stop seeing Manny, then I'll pay you. Otherwise, you're on your own. And, she would be entitled to do that. And Spinner would have been pissed off, but Spinner would have had to understand that, Paige means well. So that's just my take on it. I feel like, in a sense, that Paige should have been the one there. Spinner was holding the thing over Paige, but Paige should have told Spinner, "Well, you do this again, I'm not gonna pay you back, and you're gonna be screwed over." Although Spinner probably might have went to the cops to force Paige to pay back the car. Who knows how evil Spinner would have been? And this is not including the Rick Murray stuff that he and Jay basically got Rick's hopes up twice. Everyone remembers the bathroom scene in which they managed to get Rick to go after Jimmy. But people forget, in Time Stands Still Part 1, they told Rick everything was cool so that Rick would not have any inkling to the fact that Jay and Spinner were setting him up for the paint and feathers. That's just how I feel. That's just how it goes. Anyway, I'm Jeff.